Have you ever seen a moment when compassion shatters all preconceptions and transforms a life in an instant? Picture a crisp winter afternoon in downtown New York City. The streets are busy with the hustle and bustle of commuters, and beneath the grandeur of towering skyscrapers, life unfolds in unexpected ways. In this urban maze, amidst the honking horns and swirling snowflakes, an extraordinary encounter takes place that will forever redefine what it means to care. Barron Trump, a name that most associate with privilege and celebrity, is out on the streets today, not as a distant heir to a fortune, but as a young man with a genuine heart. On this particular day, he finds himself driving through a neighborhood that many overlook, a place where the chill of winter is matched only by the cold indifference that society often shows its most vulnerable. As he navigates through the city, his eyes catch sight of a figure huddled against a brick wall, shivering beneath a threadbare blanket. It is a homeless man whose weary eyes and downcast expression speak of a lifetime of hardships and untold stories. The scene that unfolds is anything but ordinary. The homeless man, whom we come to know is named Jerome, is trying to keep warm by the side of a busy street. Despite the biting cold and the indifferent passers-by, Jerome maintains a quiet dignity, his gaze filled with a mixture of resignation and hope. Meanwhile, a group of bystanders occasionally throw glances in his direction, some with pity, others with judgment. It is in this moment of urban isolation that Barron's journey takes an unexpected turn. As fate would have it, Barron parks his car nearby to grab a quick coffee from a local vendor. While waiting, he notices Jerome sitting on a worn-out bench, his face etched with the lines of hardship, and something stirs within him. A realization that beneath the layers of social stereotypes and celebrity expectations, real humanity lies in the smallest acts of connection. The memory of his own moments of vulnerability, often hidden behind a facade of wealth and privilege, floods his mind. Without a second thought, Barron decides to act. He walks over to Jerome with a genuine smile and a kind word. "Hey, are you all right?" he asks softly, as if afraid that his voice might shatter the fragile bubble of hope that surrounds the man. Jerome, startled by the unexpected warmth of the stranger's approach, hesitates for a moment before replying, "I'm managing, just trying to get through another day." There is a quiet dignity in his voice, one that tells of battles fought without applause. Instead of offering empty sympathy, Barron listens intently, his eyes reflecting a deep empathy that speaks louder than any words could. Within moments, their conversation blossoms into something far more profound than a casual encounter. Barron learns about Jerome's struggles, how he once had a family and a job, how a series of unfortunate events led him to the streets, and how he now clings to hope in a world that often forgets the forgotten. As Jerome shares his story, Barron's heart swells with determination. This is not a moment for pity. It is a call to action. He makes a decision that will ripple through the lives of everyone involved. "I want to help," Barron declares, his voice resolute. No one should be left to suffer alone on these streets. He takes out his phone and calls a local shelter he had heard about, a place that provides food, warmth, and a chance at a new beginning for those who have fallen through society's cracks. In a series of quick, determined steps, he arranges for Jerome to be picked up and taken to the shelter immediately. But his compassion doesn't end there. Barron also speaks with the shelter manager, promising to donate a significant amount to help expand their services and ensure that more people like Jerome can find refuge and hope. As Jerome is gently led away by a volunteer, His eyes meet Barron's. For a brief, powerful moment, there is a silent exchange, an unspoken gratitude that transcends the barriers of class and circumstance. Onlookers, who had paused in their daily routines to witness this act of kindness, erupt in quiet applause and murmurs of approval. The video capturing this moment, recorded by a nearby passerby, quickly spreads across social media. Within minutes, hashtags like #kindness wins and Barron cares trend nationwide, sparking conversations about empathy, compassion, and the true meaning of leadership. The story doesn't stop with the viral video. Over the next few days, media outlets pick up the story and conduct interviews with those who witnessed the event. Local newspapers laud Barron's intervention as a moment of humanity in a harsh urban landscape, and talk shows invite him to speak about the importance of reaching out to those in need. Barron appears humble, yet passionate in every interview, emphasizing that his actions were not about gaining fame or deflecting criticism, but about addressing a systemic issue that affects countless lives every day. Community leaders and social activists seize the moment as well, using the story as a rallying cry to improve support systems for the homeless and underprivileged. Town hall meetings and community forums begin to address the challenges of urban poverty, and Barron's actions inspire a new wave of volunteerism. In one particularly moving instance, a group of young activists organize a day of kindness, where volunteers across the city reach out to homeless shelters, soup kitchens, and community centers, motivated by the example set by Barron. Meanwhile, Jerome's story takes on a life of its own. The once overlooked man, now given a second chance at dignity and stability, becomes a symbol of resilience and the transformative power of human connection. He shares his journey with local media, expressing deep gratitude for the kindness that saved him from the brink. "I never imagined someone like Barron would care enough to help me," Jerome admits, with a trembling smile. "Today, I feel seen and valued, and that has given me hope to rebuild my life." His story resonates with many, and soon, a crowdfunding campaign is launched to help him secure housing and start a small business, with donors moved by his testament to survival and the ripple effects of a single act of kindness. Barron's intervention also ignites a broader debate about the responsibilities of privilege. Critics who once dismissed him as merely a figurehead are forced to acknowledge that his actions reflect a deep-seated commitment to social justice. In opinion pieces and social media debates, commentators discuss the importance of using one's platform to uplift those who have been marginalized. It's not about the wealth you inherit, but about the compassion you choose to share. One viral tweet reads, "Barron Trump has shown us that true leadership is measured by the heart, not by the bank account," another adds. As the weeks turn into months, the impact of that fateful day continues to reverberate through the community. The shelter that helped Jerome expands its operations thanks to Barron's generous donation and the newfound public support. Local government officials, inspired by the story, allocate more resources to address homelessness and poverty, acknowledging that lasting change begins with small, heartfelt actions. In schools, teachers use the video as a tool to teach empathy and civic responsibility, encouraging students to see beyond stereotypes and to value every human life. At a community awards ceremony held later in the year, Barron Trump is honored for his extraordinary act of kindness. Surrounded by people from all walks of life, volunteers, community leaders, and even some former critics, he accepts the award with humility. "This isn't just my achievement," he tells the crowd. "It's a win for every person who has ever been ignored, every voice that has been silenced. Today, we show that kindness can indeed change the world. The speech is met with thunderous applause, and the event is covered by major news outlets, further cementing the story's status as a turning point in the fight against urban neglect. As you watch this story unfold, you realize that moments like these are rare but incredibly powerful. They remind us that even in the midst of urban chaos and societal indifference, there are individuals who choose to act with empathy and integrity. Barron Trump's intervention on that busy New York street was more than a single act of charity. It was a call to all of us to look beyond our own lives and to extend a hand to those in need. In a world often divided by wealth and status, the story of that day stands as a beacon of hope. It challenges us to rethink our assumptions, to question the systems that allow suffering to continue unchecked, and to believe that every person has the power to make a difference. Whether it's through a kind word, a generous gesture, or simply taking a moment to listen, we all have the ability to transform lives and build a more compassionate society. So, as you watch this video, let it inspire you to be that change. Consider how a single act of kindness can ripple outwards, touching countless lives in ways you may never fully understand. Reflect on the importance of empathy in a world that often feels cold and indifferent, and ask yourself, what can I do today to help those around me? Because sometimes the most powerful response to life's challenges isn't one of anger or despair, but one of compassion, connection, and a steadfast belief in our shared humanity.